All right, how's everybody doing? Um, so it's been a little while. I did get everything primed and weaponized for the Idris fleet, and then I ended up adding a few extra because I can't leave anything well enough alone. And if you know anything about the weather here in North Carolina, it's not been that far along since we got hit with a pretty good snowstorm, at least for this region. Uh, of course, I'm actually kind of happy because I like snow, and it was a fun little vacation. um, but I couldn't go outside the prime, so we ended up messing with a few more cars. And uh, anyway, just wanted to talk about while I got them primed, the weaponry and thought processes of an Idris fleet. So this is my car of the month right now in the primer, and it's got basic front machine gun and a rear-mounted minigun. Performance car, extra crew member, uh, and we're going to be try to be basing this one off of Buddy Baker's Dodge Daytona, um, because it was the first production car, I believe, that went to 200 mile an hour, and it did it at Talladega. And so that to me screams an Idris relic. You know, the first car to break 200 would be something they would absolutely go gaga over. Um, but as far as the Gasland's car of the month competition goes, it's repack, so it's got to fit back in the package. So, as you see here, it fits back in the package just fine. The trick, for me, I'm not so much worried about the painting of this one. I'm not sure how to do a custom cardboard. They want custom cards, and I do have an idea of what I want, but I'm not entirely sure how to actually do it. Let's see. I'm trying to remember to hold it about right here. And nothing's glued in yet. Everything's just kind of pressed, so you can just see how we make our crew. We just had to recut the steering wheel, and it's little train figures. We just cut them at the hip, legs, and file them down a little bit. And this guy here is actually in a seated position already, so he didn't require that much. Putting crew in can be a little bit of a pain, but sometimes the best thing to do is if you keep your glass, you can kind of use the glass here as a guide, and let you know how much you need to take off of the person. I may have said it already before, but one time I was filing a figure to get it to fit in the car, and my brother asked me what I was doing, and I said I was filing a girl's rear end off, and he just quietly closed the door and walked away. um, but yeah, so this here is a good dragster with a combat laser, armor plating. Normally I wouldn't run dragsters without roll cage because they wipe out frequently, but because Idris is really good at managing hazards, this one ain't so bad. You know, if you're doing a death race, time extended, 9 times out of 10 you're not going to be in too much of a wipeout risk, unless of course somebody hits you with bazookas or harpoon and ram. I mean, there's obvious exceptions to the rule, but I do like this casting. I like the little jet engine, and this is actually a Kenner vehicle. And so also it's got a dualies because of course I have to have my dualies when I have them. I gotta put them on a car. And then this one's also going to become a dragster. This is a Ferrari 155 I guess you would say it's normally it should be a performance car, but as small as it is, it definitely seems more of a 4-hole vehicle than the 6-hole, well, 8-hole, sorry, of a performance car. So I feel like that's more accurate. And we've got ourselves a little bazooka here. Because again, like I said, a lot of the vehicles that are going to be as fast as a dragster, if it gets ahead of them, they're going to be racking up hazards. So it's good to just go ahead and push them over the edge. The little figure here comes from Creepy Hero Studios. The little spikes are just toothpicks. And the wheels are ones I got off of Temu. So they're a little rubbery, and when you do prime these models, they tend to get sticky. So don't freak out. There's ways to get around it. It's just I keep forgetting to do the things to get around it. That's on me, though. And then we got this one here. This one can work as good as an Idris vehicle or a Michigan. It's got 2 combat lasers. The lasers are modeled after the alien blasters from Fallout. So I was actually thinking about maybe doing this vehicle in like a Vault Tech blue, just to see what I can do with it. But I do like how it looks. It's very simple. It's also got, you know, this back end here for the jet engine and everything. I did notice it had a crack in the glass, so I'm hoping that once I get the paint on it, that'll not be as visible. And then, of course, since I was sitting around doing nothing, I had this laying around, and I tossed a combat laser on it. Which again, this is an Idris buggy. This could be work for a lot of different factions and Gaslands. But this really shows one of the strengths of buggies is you've got a very cheap vehicle that you can mount expensive firepower to. And combat laser and a machine gun, that's 6 dice. Anything gets ahead of this thing, they're not going to have a fun day. So, and then we've got another philosophy with an Idris vehicle. You've got a cheap gun with a machine gun turret. You've got a crew member here with a Magnum, and you've got the glue dropper. As you're going to be, again, you want to be a car that's ahead of everybody, and so having a weapon that can shoot backwards, rear-mounted usually, of course, the default, but also having dropper weapons. Outside of Verney, they pretty much, they're one of the more that light dropper weapons. And then we've got this one here, and again, these still come apart, so you can see the crow and everything. And so this is the Thunderbolt. The exhausts on the Thunderbolt came off of I think it's called a Mad Fast, but it's a Hot Wheels dragster that I use for parts all the time. I use it. It's got a big engine in it, so I like to take it apart for that, and then I just use the exhausts off of it for this one. But rockets, very simple again. You can have the rockets rear facing or front facing, or you can even go turret with them if you've got the cans. Again, you're going to be one of the fastest vehicles on the table, and you're going to be facing a lot of the faster vehicles on the table. So they're going to be trying to chase you down. So you want to have that firepower. Or you can go like this one here and go less firepower, but have things like glue and napalm and everything else to gum up your pursuers. And then we've got this one. This one can go for a car or a buggy. I don't have a roll cage on it, but it wouldn't be that hard to put a roll cage on it with some paper clips. I still might. depending on how I like it. I normally use hot rods as buggies, but front-mounted machine guns. This was like I said, a Hot Wheels hot rod vehicle. It's got front-mounted machine guns and napalm and submachine gun. And again, these are figures from Creepy Hero Studios on Etsy. And like I said, I like their work, so they do really good work. One thing I did do was I just use some regular Hot Wheels wheels, and then there's some spacers you can get on Etsy too. I think it Switchyard Studios. They came out with, they had their wheels and then they had little spacers on them, so that's what I use for the fronts. But the backs needed a bigger looking axle, so these are just Hot Wheels wheels. And one thing about it, when you put this back together, it looks a lot more like a very thick, solid axle to handle all the torque and power of the vehicle. And then we've got this T-Bird. Again, I really like how this T-Bird looks. Again, similar thought process. You can always flavor text these little parachutes as droppers, because it's Gasland's, it's Wasteland who's actually going to use a parachute. So you can use that as a drop point, as a weapon. You just say that there's caltrops or whatever in there. I did put this like grill vent here, so this one here will run with as smoke droppers and rockets. Again, these would both be cars, or it's just regular cars. But as you can see, car with rockets, they look totally different. No two vehicles ever have to look alike in Gaslands. It's something I really like. There's no standard template. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So then here's our Curtis Turner. I did prime the interior, but didn't need to. I'm not repainting the actual car itself, because the car itself is perfect. And so it's got machine guns and napalm dropper. You know, if you know anything about Curtis Turner, he'd be a good Rusty's base too. From the way I was told, there was a like a PSA in the 60s, is the way my dad used to tell me, was they were trying to talk about the dangers of alcohol, and they had these. I think it was a regular woman, and I'm remembering this from decades ago, so there's probably details missing. But there was like a regular woman, I think a police officer, and then there was Curtis Turner. And then they had them all run this course with sober. And they would throw out like these cardboard cutouts and stuff, and then they'd make them drive around them. So like hazards and stuff. And then they gave them alcohol to inebriate them. And they were, of course, timing how fast they were going through the course. And the more inebriated Curtis Turner got, the faster he got through the course without making mistakes. At least that's the way I've been told the story goes. But he was also famous for trying to unionize NASCAR, and he ended up more of a USAC champion than NASCAR. So, if you're aware of the current drama in NASCAR, yeah, NASCAR's always been that way. So then we got the Michael Waltrip. Again, I had the Pennzoil truck, so I had to break out the Michael Waltrip Pennzoil car. So this one's, minigun, roll cage, oil dropper. Again, we're keeping the basic color of the car. And what I did was, where the paint had been chipped off, I just put black primer on, because we're going to build up rust on top of this. and some battle damage and stuff. So, you know, that's, how you can kind of keep that paint, because that car was a little bit beat up. Then this one here is, again, another philosophy of, Idris. You've got a truck, and one thing about most of the time trucks, heavy trucks, buses even, is being Gear 3, most other sponsors would have trouble keeping up with buggies and dragsters and performance cars. Idris doesn't have that problem thanks to Helfer leather and nitro boosters. So you can take a truck, you can put rockets on it, and you can go hunt down all those little fast cars. And of course you've got machine guns on the side, grenades, and this guy here at the back with a submachine gun. Kind of a dangerous place to be, but, it's Gaslands. Who the heck cares about safety? And of course, I did prime the chassis to have that. This one's, again, it's in pieces, just for ease of painting. And the interior dudes, again, from Creepy Hero Studios. I'm not paid to say anything about that, so, just, when I say they do good work, they do good work. And then, of course, we get the Donnie Allison. I wish I could find a more period-appropriate Donnie Allison car that had the Hawaiian Tropics. I know they had the Oldsmobile 442 and they had the Monte Carlo. But I cannot find a 1/64th die-cast Donnie Allison of either of those vehicles. And I want the Hawaiian Tropic version. That's a little more of the famous one. Because that's what he was driving when he got into the very legendary scuffle with him, his brother, and Kelly Yarborough. And so I have my Bobby Allison homage. So Donnie was, of course, natural. So I would, if anybody can ever find me a Donnie Allison Oldsmobile 442, or the Monte Carlo that he drove, either one, in the 1/64 scale, with the right decals, I would be willing to trade some of my vehicles for it, as well as a Neil Bonnet, the way I could have the Alabama Gang. So again, this one here is, this one can be good for Idris, but I'm also kind of leaning towards Warden. But again, because of the gang, Alabama Gang kind of thing. But Ram, RC car bombs, roll cage, or what was that? I mean, that could have been a little dropper, but any kind of drop weapon that's a zero slot dropper goes good there. But yeah, so that's everything ready for base coats. Like I said, again, this one's probably going to get the fallout treatment. This one, the Thunderbolt, I'm wanting to try and do a Night Lords scheme on it. We'll see how that comes out. I think that would look cool. But as far as the other ones go, I'm just winging it. And like I said, there's a lot of NASCAR influence in this batch. So, that's always fun. And a little Rampage. I like this one in a way because it looks like it could be front engine or rear engine. But I can imagine somebody stuffing a Hemi inside one of these poor things. I love the styling of the Rampage, but it is kind of a weird vehicle. So basically the closest Dodge got to the El Camino and the Superior Ranchero. But that's that. And yeah, so again, we'll be doing another video of this once everything's painted. And I hope you enjoyed. So like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. Take care, be safe. Sorry, I don't have anything Valentine's-y related, even though I'm way past Valentine's Day now. But then we get to go into March, which I'm still probably gonna miss my March plan, but maybe there's always next year. All right, take care, be safe, and goodbye.